Hi, I'm Florian Venom Trickshots.
Hi, I'm Valérie Bedard.
Today we're going to talk to you about advanced fundamentals. We're going to cover everything from your stance, the basic stance, to the stroke and how to execute the best stroke possible to get the maximum amount of spin. Let's start with, in my opinion, what's the most important. The alignment, the vertical alignment. So Valérie is going to demonstrate to you how to shoot a shot like a proper stance. So we're going to start from the 5 here. So as you can see, the 5 is going to be in line with the cue ball, in line with the cue with her hand, right there, up to the wrist here, the forearm and the shoulder. So everything is in a vertical, straight plan there. So the thing is, it doesn't really matter, you know, if you have a great stroke, a great bridge or anything like that. If you don't have this vertical alignment, you will not be able to shoot straight. So really, really important to have that. The stance and the foot stance particularly now. So I want to talk about the snooker versus the pool stance first. I know it's sort of a big controversy, but the two games are quite different, so you really need two different stances in my opinion. So let's cover the snooker stance first. So Valérie is going to demonstrate the one. So what you can see is the feet are basically on the same line. So it's basically the foot lines perpendicular to the cue. Now, it's not really a proper pool stance in my opinion, because in pool you need to get a lot more position play, so you need to free your right arm. So I'm just going to demonstrate the proper pool position now. And as you can see, the feet are not really quite aligned. It's more of an angle, so I'll say 30-degree angle type thing, and that kind of will help us free the arm. In my opinion, this is the proper pool stance. Now, the one thing, if you want to go back down again, we can look is the back foot as well, so the back leg. So I know there's another thing here. So this, she's keeping it pretty straight, which is really good. Now some people decide to kind of, you know, get it lower a little bit, but you really don't want to get too low like this because that's too heavy on you, it's not comfortable. And the whole point in pool is to be as comfortable as possible, especially when you're stroking. So just make it so you're comfortable and nothing feels heavy and hard on you. Let's talk about how to address the cue ball now. So the first thing is probably the most important is you always have to first start outside the box. What I call the box is the 4 feet distance between here, there, and the cue ball and then the object ball. So you always want to go away from it because then you can step into it and kind of dominate the shot rather than feel like you're threatened by it. So that's one thing. Now the next thing you got to know is the distance you have in between your tip, your grip arm, and your foot here. So this is basically sort of something you're gonna have to remember. This is your distance. This is nothing we can really teach you. You got to figure out by yourself. So I'm gonna have Valérie here demonstrate how she gets down into the shot and address the cue ball. So as you can see, she's stepping away from the table, coming in there, and she's gonna stand right there. As you can see, the hand right there, right above the foot, exactly what we're talking about. You can see that she really was away and stepped inside the shot. Now we're gonna do one more time. Can you show us again? You can also see the descent. So what I mean the descent is how she gets the cue down. So this is the next really important thing. You don't wanna go across, swipe this way or swipe this way. You really wanna go down as much as possible in a straight line. Again, it's because it's gonna make you perfectly in line and keep you straight. The backhand or grip hand. This is another very important part of your stroke. The biggest mistake most people do is they grip it too hard like this, and this is really not good for you because you're gonna miss on the left, on the right, your cue is gonna move a little too much. So the best is really to have a loose grip, and I like to really use basically only the second finger. So I'm gonna show you a little exercise. Actually, Valérie is gonna do it. She's gonna get in position right there, and she's gonna hold the chalk in between her index and her thumb. So I'm gonna put it right there. And if you see that basically it's gonna force you to not hold it tight. And this is one little exercise you can do to just really help you out. For the rest, you can see her wrist is right straight in line, you know. A lot of people have an issue, it goes like this. So this is really bad for you, so we're gonna boost it. And then the other side as well is also pretty bad. So you really try to get it as much as possible in line. It's gonna really help you shoot straight. The last part is on the pinky. I don't know if you can see it from here, but this one is really not used, and pretty much the last one as well. So you're really only using 1-2 fingers, and really what's gonna do is the loose grip is gonna help you to really stroke the ball through and really help you get maximum spin. So what's really important is that 90-degree forearm, upper arm angle, which I'm gonna show with Valérie right now. So she's gonna get in position. The important part is to have that degree, that 90-degree right when the tip is hitting the cue ball, so the contact point. Now, what's really more important than this is that the forearm is actually perpendicular to the floor. So not just this one, but actually this line here. This is what's gonna make you hit the ball straight or not straight. Okay, that being said, you can hold the cue in a different spot on the grip. Personally, what I do is I have 3 different lengths of grip for 3 different kind of shots. So let's say we're close to the rail like this on the one ball. I'm gonna hold my hand closer here. So I'm gonna shorten my grip so I can have the 90-degree, perpendicular elevation thing right when I hit the one ball. Now, for this is, a close shot, little short practice stroke. Let's say I have a standard here. You can see I naturally move my hand towards the middle of the cue, right there. And that's again because my practice stroke is gonna be a little longer. I got more, I'm down on the cue ball. So this is done here. Now let's do a long shot. You can see in the long shot, I'm naturally again moving my right hand to the very back of the cue. And same thing, it is to get my impact point perfectly with my forearm. Okay, now this is my solution to this. However, a few people do something a little different, and Valerie actually does. So what she does is she keeps her hand at the exact same spot, but she moves her body, shifts her body forward or backward. So you can see here, she's at the same spot right there. Then we're gonna go into the 5 ball. See how she does it? You can see her right hand stayed at the exact same spot. However, she is still hitting the ball right here. That forearm is still 90 degrees whenever she hits the 5. Now on the last ball, she will have to move no matter what a little bit, but she will probably not be as drastically as me towards the back of the cue. As you can see, she is way closer than me where I was right there. And again, this is the same thing, that forearm perpendicular to the table right there when she hits the 6 ball. Let's talk about bridges now. I know the lesson title is Advanced Fundamentals, so bridges are pretty basic, but what we're gonna try here is we're gonna try to give you some pointers how to improve your bridge. So let's start up with open bridge. So one of the common thing I see when I teach people is a lot of people just keep their hand like this, and after a while starts to really hurt here, sort of like a burn, simply because they're using too much of the meat of the hand. Meanwhile, if all you gotta do is just turn this hand a little bit, so you got a little less contact, and this makes it a lot easier, and it hurts a lot less. So in the long run, you really can practice, a little better. Now, again, on the open bridge, we're gonna keep going. When you're trying to raise, so this is what I do. I usually like it, it's pretty solid, but however, a lot of people, a lot of pool players will get those fingers right back there, also really solid. And that's gonna help you again to, solidity in the bridge is really what's most important. Let's keep going on the closed bridge here. So Valerie has probably one of the best closed bridge I've ever seen. So she's gonna demonstrate right now. And as you can see, whenever she does it, so all those 3 fingers are together, they're touching at a spot, and there's really no gap in between the fingers there. Also, she's able to bend her finger, which is exactly why it makes it a really strong bridge. So, a lot of people are gonna do something like this, maybe because they can't bend the finger as much, maybe, for a reason that I'm not too sure. But anyway, if you have sort of a gap like this, closed bridge not for you. This is getting a little too dangerous because you're not gonna really hit the right spot on the ball. Now, if we keep going on the closed bridge again, we have different ways to raise your bridge the same way. Of course, the standard, you're gonna try to keep your palm on the table. However, if you gotta go up, you can always do something like this. We can always also what I call the 3-cushion bridge, which is a bridge that we use a lot in 3-cushion because the ball is bigger, so higher, which is pretty much go like this, and it naturally raises the height of your tip. So that's gonna help you to put a lot more follow shots, and meanwhile it might feel a little less solid. The trick is to just simply go on the side here and helps you just, keep down in stability. Let's cover some rail bridge now. So rail bridge, one of the biggest misconceptions is people trying to always put angle on a shot. And really, when you're in the bridge, especially, I'm gonna grab a ball here, you're trying to be as parallel as possible to the table, like this, right? So in my opinion, the best one is probably something like this. This really helps you keep down on the table and really hit the ball pretty correctly. I'm gonna have Valerie demonstrate another type of bridge on the rail. And again, you're gonna have to notice that A lot of pool tables, the rail is not flat, but actually going down. And this is sort of the reason why, is because this is gonna help you put your finger there and still keep parallel to the table. So this is exactly the bridge I was talking about. Right there, helps you to really, hit the ball well. And I think there's maybe one last type of bridge too that is literally putting your finger on the metal edge almost. And this is really when you try to stroke the ball through. And again, the trick though is to really stay as parallel as possible when you do the rail bridge and not angle. So this is something you don't want to do except if you have to for a reason, that you need to put a lot of spin or something like that. But if you don't have to, you never want to raise your cue angle. Let's now talk about stroke. This is my favorite part because how much or how good your stroke is just going to determine how much spin you can put on the cue ball and how good of a draw or fall you're going to get. In order to kind of show what I have in mind, we have 3 balls here, the 1 for soft shot, the 2 for medium shot, and the 3 for hard shot. So what I want to talk about first is the pendulum thing. So basically, Valerie is going to get in position and I'm going to try to show you here. So she's gonna try to shoot all these 3 balls in the pocket out there, and I wanna show you exactly what the thing here. So whenever we got this, now if you pull back, you got this distance here, right? So this distance right there is gonna apply here. So we have 50% here, 50% there. This is basically how much follow through she's gonna get on a soft shot. So I want you to visualize that. You'll see it, it's gonna go right there. There you go, perfect, okay? Now we're gonna do the same process and we're gonna repeat it for a medium shot. So you're gonna see she's got a longer bridge. I'm gonna try it again to show you what I'm meaning here. There we go. And she pulls back to about here, okay? So if we transfer that again, we should be somewhere around here and that's gonna be her follow through. Now you can see the follow through is longer in the medium shot than the short shot. The last one is the hard shot. I'm not even gonna demonstrate, I'm just gonna let you shoot it and you'll see the follow through is gonna be right there. And what I want you to understand is the more you follow through, the more you're gonna get power and spin on the shot. And that's basically how you get a better stroke. Let's establish a pre-shot routine and put all those elements together. Basically what we're gonna try here is just shoot the cue ball into the 3, make the 3 in the corner. So Valerie's gonna guide us to her process and thought process on how to make this.
Okay, so one good thing I like to do is keeping my chalk in my hand until I make the right decisions. So now, in that case, I would play center ball, the 3 in the corner. So I chalk, put the chalk on the table, I step out, visualize the shot, and then I step in.
Okay, so now you can notice how her forearm is in line, the cue is in line, the bridge is solid. We know by the length of the bridge it's gonna be a medium stroke. You can see this practice stroke, the right way, never deceleration in the practice stroke. And she's pretty much ready to go here. So she's gonna shoot. There we go. And you can see she stayed down on the shot, very solid bridge. The head stayed down, there was no deceleration. And all through the movement, it was a very solid, very consistent, and very smooth process. So this is pretty much what you're looking for in your game, just a perfect and smooth pre-shot routine that's gonna lead you to a perfectly smooth shot. All this was simply leading to my favorite part of pool, which is get extreme spin on the cue ball. Now remember, if you have strong fundamentals, the pre-shot, everything in line, you can actually start to get crazy now. Now, the biggest problem I see for people that lacking spin a little bit is their miscue circles too narrow, meaning they only really go, 1 tip or 2 tips on the side of the cue ball, up and down, same thing. Meanwhile, you can really go a lot of outs in the cue ball. With the proper material, proper tip, proper cue, proper balls, you can almost get a half a tip away from the ball and still not miscue. So this is really important in order to get extreme spin. The next part is the follow through. When Valerie was demonstrating, it was basically a 50-50 in front and after the impact. In my case, I almost go 25% more at the very end, and it's not uncommon to go even more if you really have to. So long fall through, a very long fall through is gonna help you a lot. Loose grip, but even extra loose. So extra loose grip about center of the cue, and just kind of launch the cue all the way and maximize every motion we talked about. This is purely spin, so in this case aiming is a little less important. So you really just have to exaggerate every motion, the pendulum, the follow through, and then how low and how you hit on the ball. So I'm just gonna show you a little shot here, just the cue ball to the 5 and try to draw the cue ball as far as possible. So again, you can see my pre-shot routine, chalk, same way I'm gonna do. Get in line, out of the box, step in the box, visualize. And instead, I'm just gonna go a little lower on the ball. There you go, so you can see, all the way, everything. My follow through was long, loose grip, and that ball just traveled a couple rails already, and back to where it came from. So this is pretty much what you're gonna have to do to get extreme spin. It goes same for side spin, so left, right, and same concept for top spin. Your follow through is really gonna affect the way you're gonna hit it, and if you get that little extra 25% follow through, you'll thank me later.
This was the advanced fundamentals. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please comment below.
As usual, don't forget to check out pooldog.com for all your pool and billiard supplies, and see you guys next time.